Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Monday. I hope your work week hasn't even started. Hope you're off today. National holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We're here, though, so if you are working, we'll get you to the finish line on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Denton Day at the bottom of hour number 2, previewing tonight's matchup between Indiana and Miami for the college football playoff national championship. I'll do that a little bit later on as well. LSU basketball gets a win in the PMAC on Saturday. We'll discuss it. Big weekend in the NFL playoffs as well, so we'll get into that. But it's got to start with the portal, right? Always start with the portal. We'll do that with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
It's been a fever dream for 2 weeks, essentially. Basically 3 at this point. But it's winding down. It's not over. It's winding down. LSU has completely overhauled its football roster. You're talking about more than 35 additions at this point in the transfer portal. And they may not be done. There are 2 guys that have been on campus today, and that's where we're going to start. Because I think these are difference makers at positions of need, and they're important positions on the football field. They just happen to stare at each other. The first is left tackle. And Jordan Seaton is the biggest fish in the sea here. And LSU has established itself as a potential landing spot for Jordan Seaton. This is something we discussed on Friday, so we're not going to rehash it in its entirety. But to refresh things, this would be a big-time difference maker immediately. There are some players that LSU has taken in this portal class that I look at, in my opinion, and say, maybe a depth add, a little bit of risk there. That might not work. It might, but it might not. And then there are some that you look at and go, that's a difference maker. And immediately, if you bring Jordan Seaton in, that's a difference maker. And LSU, right now, probably doesn't have an all-SEC left tackle on its roster. Could Devin Harper develop into that? Sure. Perhaps one of these young offensive linemen that you've recruited, developed, can blossom into that. It could happen. But if you go get Jordan Seaton, you get an all-SEC left tackle. You go get a guy who was a consensus top 5 player in the country when he came out of high school. You get a guy that walked onto the field at Colorado and was their starting left tackle from day one. Played in every game as a freshman, played in 9 games as a sophomore. He did not allow a sack as a sophomore at Colorado. Now, I wouldn't suggest the Big 12 is exactly like the SEC, but you go out there at left tackle for 8-9 games and you don't allow a single sack, that's playing. And I checked out on ESPN.com today. They had a look ahead to the 2027 draft. Not the one that we're about to have, 2027. And they listed 2 or 3 players at every position to keep an eye on in next college football season. And Jordan Seaton was one of the offensive linemen on that list. So you look at high school pedigree, you look at college production, you look at NFL prospects, Jordan Seaton checks every box. And oh, by the way, LSU has a hole there at left tackle. You bring him in, and all of a sudden, you start to change the expectation level in my eyes. This is a team, it's interesting to think about, because when you looked at LSU after their 3rd, 4th loss of the 2025 season, and you looked around at that roster, you would have said, well, there's not going to be a lot of this back next year. Probably going to take a step back next year. And then you get the coaching change, and then the portal opens up, and you're seeing how quickly you can transform a roster. And right now, there's just not a lot of people better at doing that than Lane Kiffin. I would suggest he probably doesn't want to sign 35 kids a year, but if he has to go sign 35 kids, he can go sign 35 kids. and this one would be probably the second biggest. You got to have quarterback. Levitt becomes the biggest. But offensive line was second on this list, and he's the best offensive lineman. So you're talking about two positions of dire need. Your quarterback room was empty, and your offensive line was in exodus. And you may go get the best one available, according to, not me, the people who rank those on 3, 24/7, all those sites. Levitt, number one quarterback. Seaton, number one tackle. You may address those two needs with the best player available. That would be an incredible thing for Lane Kiffin. So that's one that has been on campus, was on campus yesterday, was on campus today. We'll see if he goes to Oregon or not. Take that visit. Oftentimes, in this recruiting world, if you can get a commitment, your job is to make sure that they stay, commit, and don't make the next trip. Now, LSU wasn't able to do that with Sam Levitt. He went to Knoxville. He went to Miami. He came back. It can still work that way. But ideally, you would like to tell Jordan Seaton, hey, you're committed to us. Sign this piece of paper. Don't even fly to Eugene. It's a long way up there. Long way to go. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of hours, whether or not he makes that trip up to Oregon. But LSU is optimistic on Jordan Seaton. I feel like there's a reasonable chance LSU will land the number one offensive tackle in the portal. Now, you look across the line of scrimmage, Prince Will Umanmielen. That is a former Ole Miss Rebel, edge rusher, led Ole Miss in sacks this past year with 9, bends the edge, makes plays in the backfield. He was the Rebels' best pass rusher in 2025. And I talked about this on Friday a little bit as well, but now it looks to be a little bit more crystallized. LSU's pass rush just wasn't very good this past year. Like Harold Perkins got his 5-6 sacks, but the guys on the edge, Pyburn, Payton, Butler, Relaford, those guys didn't necessarily make big impacts on the edge. And you've gone out in the transfer portal and you went and got Jordan Ross and you hope that he can, but he hasn't. And you've gone out and added some guys on the edge, but nobody with this kind of proven production in the SEC. And now Prince Will Umanmielen does make the visit from Oxford to Baton Rouge. And reading what the folks over in Oxford think, it feels like he's headed to LSU. And you might say, well, wait a second, didn't he announce he was committed to Ole Miss? He did. And he signed. So LSU is going to owe Ole Miss buyout payments if Prince Will Umanmielen elects to transfer to LSU. If you agree to terms on a revenue share contract and you break that contract, there are financial penalties. And LSU will be burdened with those should Prince Will Umanmielen come on. But if you're LSU, you're thinking, well, that's just money. We take Ole Miss's best pass rusher away and we add him to our what was a weak pass rush, and you get better. So it's just cost of doing business. Got to make it happen with money. It's a whole new world. I really could not have envisioned 7 years ago me sitting here and saying, yeah, LSU is getting Ole Miss's edge rusher, but he already signed a contract with Ole Miss. That would have been foreign anyway. And LSU will have to pay $500,000 or whatever the number ends up being to Ole Miss to take their player. Whatever. That's the world we're living in now. But that is a proven game changer on the edge to make things happen for an LSU defense that struggled to do that last year. And when we talk about offense and defense with 2025 LSU and 2026 LSU, like the offense is going to be a whole different world. But the defense has a lot of its DNA. You've got the coordinator, you've got the safeties coach, you got the corners coach. Baker's still coaching linebackers to an extent. You still have Kevin Peoples. Like, you have a lot of the same scheme, same personnel on the defensive side of the ball. Linebacker's going to look very similar. Corner's going to look very similar without Delane. You've got some guys back at safety. McKinley's back. Like, there are a lot of things that are similar on defense. So one of the things that you were weak at was on the edge, at edge rusher. Umanmielen helps remedy that. So these are two game-changing pieces that LSU would like to add here. I don't know if that's the end of the line or not, but it feels like if I were just, I'm educated guessing, okay? Educated guessing. So not a complete shot in the dark, but certainly not sourced and final. I would suggest Prince Will Umanmielen is an 80% lean to LSU at this point. 20% he would end up back at Ole Miss. I think he's headed to LSU. That's the feeling from the Ole Miss side. I think he's going to be a Tiger. Seaton, I don't have that kind of confidence in. I think it's probably just north of 50%, 55% that LSU gets him. he gets on that plane to go to Oregon, I think it dumps back down to 50, maybe a little bit below that. But we don't know that yet. I don't know his whereabouts currently, so I'm just making it, like I said, an educated guess. There was some confidence at LSU earlier today, but confidence can be fleeting in this world. All it takes is one phone call, one offer, one flight, and things change on a dime. So those would be monster gets for LSU. And I feel like if you could get Prince Uwamanielen and Jordan Seaton to LSU at those two positions, left tackle, edge rusher, I feel like you're looking at a top 10 preseason team. And some of you may roll your eyes and go, they're already top 10 preseason team. I don't know. I don't know what every roster looks like. But just based on filling needs, talent level, I told you there were a lot of league average players that I thought LSU added. That was the line that I used 2 weeks ago when I looked at some of the additions on the offensive line, some of the additions on the defensive line, some of the additions at wide receiver. I thought, well, you're probably adding like league average. This is not league average. Seaton's one of the best tackles in the SEC tomorrow if he comes to LSU, and Uwamanielon's already proven himself to be a great edge rusher in the SEC with 9 sacks for an SEC team. So you're getting difference makers if you can get those guys. That's the hope at this point for LSU. If anything breaks between now and 3 o'clock, we'll certainly let you know. And if it breaks before 6 o'clock, Matt will let you know coming up on After Further Review. If you're looking for our LSU content, you can always find it at louisianasports.net, and you can find it at Hunt on LSU, wherever you find your podcast, or, of course, on YouTube. We will take a timeout when we come back. Let's talk a little bit about the game tonight down on South Beach. I've got an angle on this that's local, and I got a rooting interest tonight. I'll tell you about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website, HighlandIG.com. We tell you about commercial property and casualty insurance all the time over at the Highland Insurance Group. They do a fantastic job with it, but that's not all they can do. They can also do your group or employee benefits. So if you're a business owner, you're a CFO or an HR, and you're in charge of handling the benefits, you got to make sure that those are the right place, because that's big for you to recruit talent. It's big for you to maintain and keep talent around. We're talking about the transfer portal. Transfer portal works professionally too. You don't have the best opportunities for your employees in terms of health insurance and benefits, they may leave. Don't let that happen. If you have a bad renewal coming up, there's one carrier that's really driving up those premiums. You want a second option? Highland Insurance Group is happy to help you with that. They're located here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out statewide. Property and casualty, they got it. Group employee benefits, they got that as well. It's the Highland Insurance Group.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89. plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
So, tonight, Indiana and Miami will play for the national championship. I'm expecting a pretty good football game, but I have a rooting interest, and I didn't feel like I would as of the second Ole Miss lost. Once Ole Miss was out, certainly A&M was out, I'm like, okay, I'm stress-free here. I don't really care who wins. I don't care if Indiana wins a national championship on its face. I don't care if Miami wins a national championship. I don't have any emotional tie to those two programs at all. Not any. My emotional investment is largely rooted in the SEC. I've got a little bit of hatred for Notre Dame because of the way that they operate independently. I just think it's ridiculous. But essentially, the SEC's got all of my emotional investment. Indiana's in the Big Ten. Miami's in the ACC. I don't care if they win or lose. Until people start tossing around the 2019 LSU Tigers. And when that happens, you get my emotional investment. I have talked about this many times on this show. I don't ever get sick of talking about the 2019 LSU football team. Ever. I'll do it today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it whenever. It was awesome to watch. It's the best college football team I have ever seen. And they just happened to play for my alma mater. It was an absolute freight train of a football team. And if Indiana goes out there tonight and wins this game by 20 points in Miami, you will hear people start to talk about Indiana in the same conversation with 2019 LSU. And I have no interest in entertaining that discussion. None. I was reading a preview piece on ESPN.com today. And it suggested that Indiana, this iteration of Indiana, probably has about 6 draftable players. Draftable. 2019 LSU put 5 guys in the next first round. I just did the math. 24 dudes who played roles on that team, big roles, got drafted. 24. 5 in the first round. You're looking at, beyond the quarterback, Mendoza, Pons, Surratt, guys that they're projecting to be 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks. And yes, I understand that just draftability doesn't create the best team, and that's kind of what Indiana's been built on. But as I've said previously, and I said last week, we can't play the game, okay? The 2025 Indiana team can't play the 2019 LSU team. That's not a game that can happen, right? We don't have time machines. We can't jump in the DeLorean and go figure this thing out. So all we have are statistics and data points that we can point to talk about this. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to take a team that had 5 first-round picks in the next draft, that had 24 dudes that were drafted over the next 3 years, that had 14 players drafted total the next spring, and talk about a team that has a few third-rounders on it. This is a different era of college football. You can't build the juggernaut anymore because everyone leaves. What was Nick Saban doing to create the dynasty he created? He was just stacking 4- and 5-star recruits over the course of a decade, and they couldn't go anywhere because if you left, you had to sit out a year. So he just had a bench full of 4- and 5-stars. That's how you create a dominant team. Indiana has a bunch of 3- and 4-star recruits who aren't going to go in the first round. They're not as good as LSU was. They're a great team. They're probably going to win the national title tonight. They're going to have 14 guys drafted in a few months. Burrow, Chase, Jefferson, Stingley, Delpit, Phillips, Chason, Queen, Terrace Marshall, Clyde. Then you look in the offensive front. Cushenberry signed the biggest center deal in NFL history for his second contract. Damian Lewis, NFL starter. Sadiq Charles, NFL starter. Like Ed Ingram, NFL starter. I don't have any interest in entertaining this Indiana squad with LSU. And the thing that I love to hear is, well, that LSU team had a bad defense. Hold on. They played a poor game against Vanderbilt. I'll grant you that. Vanderbilt scored too many points. Now, LSU could have scored 100 that day if they needed to. 100. Jamar Chase just running wind sprints up and down the Vanderbilt secondary. The defense didn't play great. And then they couldn't tackle John Rice Plumlee. That is correct. They couldn't. But that defense, by the end of the season, was nasty. They played a good game against Alabama. The two long passes to Devontae Smith where Stingley wasn't looking one time, I don't really know what to say about that. And there was a punt return involved. But that Bama team in 2019 is better than anybody Indiana's played all year. Anybody Indiana's played all year. With Tua, Smith, Waddle, Ruggs, of course, the beast of a running back, Najee Harris. That was when Saban was still building superpowers. And LSU stared him right between the eyes in Tuscaloosa and punked him. And then that defense stood tall against Texas A&M, stood tall against Georgia, was really good against Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb in Oklahoma, and was really good against Trevor Lawrence, first-round pick. Etienne, the ACC's all-time touchdowns leader. T. Higgins, who makes $40 million a year in the NFL. Really good against those guys. That defense had pros all over the place. So, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. This is the very definition of just turning your back on the congregation at large and preaching directly to the choir. I know you know what I'm saying. I just need to get this off my chest. Because I am not here to talk about the merits of an Indiana team that was built in the transfer portal era with very few draftable players because they're winning in an era that's completely different than the one LSU showed up in 2019. So, I have a rooting interest tonight. It is very clearly with the Miami Hurricanes. I hope they line up and just punk Indiana tonight. Run the ball. Fletcher. Bend the edge with Bain and Mesidor and get after them. I feel like all I need is a close game. I just can't have Indiana win by 30. And I don't think they will. I think Miami's too tough. The problem tonight is that, as I said, and look, I said this about the Ole Miss game too, it feels like Miami's only got one path to winning. And you can suggest they deviated from that a little bit in the Ole Miss game because they did have to go down and score at the end, and they did have to use the air a little bit. But their way to win is to lock Indiana in a cage and maul them. You've got to play it between the tackles, play it at the line of scrimmage, don't let it get out into space. But Indiana can win different ways. They've got a quarterback that can go beat you. They can spread the field. They can run the ball. It's just an incredibly well-coached team. And I think to the genesis of this segment, talking about the dominance of 2019 LSU and comparing them to this Indiana team, that conversation dovetails for me into just how good a job Kurt Cignetti and his staff have done. Because I don't believe they're nearly as talented as a lot of these great teams that we talk about. I don't believe they're going to produce 8 Hall of Famers or whatever the 2001 Miami team did. But they play great. And that's a credit to what Cignetti has done. This was my point before Indiana smoked Alabama. They're not doing it with this massive influx of talent, and they're not doing it with the revolutionary style of play. They're just really good at the simple stuff, and that's been good enough to get them home. I'm concerned, as an LSU fan rooting for Miami, about Cignetti against Cristobal. I think that's a mismatch. I'm concerned about Mendoza versus Beck. I think that's a mismatch. But none of that matters if the offensive line for Miami and the defensive line for Miami win at the point of attack. And it's their only way to win the game, but I just need them close. You get me within 6 points here, and I can stand on that thrashing of Clemson and that thrashing of Oklahoma and feel like nobody's really going to aggressively come at me here. But if Indiana gets this thing cooking in the third quarter and they win this thing 38-13, I'm going to have to turn off ESPN. Like, I can't, because I'm not going to listen to somebody try to tell me that Indiana is as good as the 2019 LSU team. I'm just not going to listen to it. You can keep talking, have your discussions wherever you want. I'm not listening. I'm not here for it. No shot. Jordan, you watched that LSU team play.
I did.
You've seen Indiana play.
I have.
Do we need to have this conversation?
No, man. And honestly, my biggest gripe really is that knowing that the Big Ten could be, this will be their third national championship in a row.
Yep.
At this point.
3 different schools.
Yeah, and the noise is already so loud about the SEC's falling off. Oh, y'all can't pay players anymore. So that's really where my concern is trying to pipe down the Big Ten because they're chirping real loud, and this will even incentivize them. And then I get it. SEC's we've been kicking butt for a long time. So I get it, but that's where I'm at. And you already know. It's all about the U, baby.
I have no conference pride whatsoever.
No, I get it. No,
I want everybody in the SEC to be miserable failures except one school.
Oh, no. Look, and I'm not the old, kumbaya, I was going against Ole Miss. Like, I hate it. And I wanted Georgia to lose if Georgia saw somebody else, but I would rather the ACC get this one. That's all I'm saying. I would rather the ACC because I just hate these Ohio State, Michigan guys. They just been chirping too much. So let's nip this in the bud.
I'm curious what that crowd is going to look like tonight.
Oh, Indiana all day. All day.
I mean, it's a home game for Miami.
No, it is, but you know Miami fans are notorious.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really I think they said they need their own stadium on campus, not, share with the Dolphins or the Hard Rock or whatever.
Yeah. I would agree with that on Coral Gables action, but it should be we'll talk with Denton about the game tonight later on today, but I think Miami's going to play them close. I think Indiana's going to win. But I think Miami's going to hold their own because I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to play good defense. I'm a little concerned with their injuries in the back end. Like that's a big deal with corner. They got Jabari Antoine out there, Louisiana boy running around.
The guy suspended
for targeting.
Yeah.
So I think Indiana scores a late touchdown maybe to separate, and that might even cover. But I think this thing goes into the fourth quarter something like 24-14, 24-17, and then maybe Indiana gets one more score to nudge it out to 2 scores and win it. But I don't see 41-14 coming. I really don't. And look, Indiana's done that to some teams, but I just don't see it tonight.
No, and I agree with you 100%. And this is kind of a hot take, but I think that would be a program debilitating loss if Miami gets blown out basically at home in the national championship. They have to keep it close.
We'll see. That's my sob story about LSU in 2019. Don't talk about Indiana with that team. That team is special. You want to talk about 2001 Miami, maybe that Nebraska team mid-90s? We'll have that discussion. You want to talk about Indiana? I'm out. All right, when we come back, LSU got a victory on the hardwood on Saturday. What does it mean? We'll talk about it.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Under new ownership, Fabry family, they've been here for 35 years, 3 locations, 5 brands, now proud to be your stop for Chevrolet and GMC. SUVs are hot in 2026. You want a new Suburban? They got them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You want a new Tahoe? They got them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Had a friend roll up to the house yesterday in her new Denali. It's a gorgeous vehicle. It's big. It's a gorgeous vehicle. If you're looking for that, you can get that as well at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Got Yukons on the lot. You can see them all at FabryChevrolet.com. You've been doing business with the Fabry family for 35 years. Do it in St. Francisville on Highway 61. Check out that entire inventory at FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this
is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Denton Day from SiriusXM's College Football Overtime in 1 hour, talking about Miami and Indiana from South Beach. Preview the national final with our guy Denton. It'll be our last Monday visit. He's good enough to spend those Mondays with us during football season, so check in with him one more time coming up in 1 hour. I want to talk a little bit about LSU's basketball win on Saturday. I told you on Friday, do or die. Like, that's it. And if you can't beat Missouri at home, Thomas or not, then you're toast because you're not going to go to Gainesville and win. You're not going to go to Arkansas and win. That's 0-7, and that's the end of the line. So everything was on the line for LSU on Saturday, and they played a really good basketball game. They really did. They played well. For the second game in a row, LSU came out and did a great job on defense in the first half. Missouri missed their first 7 shots. They started the game 3 for 13 from the floor and 4 of 17 from the floor eventually. And LSU built that nice first half lead just like they did against Kentucky. And this time they were able to hold on. You got a great effort from Markel Sutton, who played his best game as an LSU Tiger. He was 7 of 14 from the floor, knocked down a couple of threes, got to the foul line for 14 free throws. He made 10 of them, scored 26 points in his 34 minutes. You had to have that. Without Thomas, somebody's got to step up and go score, and it can't always be McKinnon. And we've seen Nwoku essentially fizzle. He hasn't done anything since Thomas left. So you got to count on some guys on the perimeter, and you saw that from Markel Sutton, who was assertive and really played great in the game. McKinnon tossed in his 20 points as well. It took him 19 shots to get there, but he made 4 of his 10 threes, and he played 38 minutes. He's given you everything he has, and you've got to have it from him offensively. And LSU did a great job of taking care of the basketball. Without your starting point guard to only have 7 assists, I think that's good. And one of the things I was thinking about on Saturday when this game ended, I'm looking at them going, God, they just – if Thomas had gotten hurt in November – and it would have allowed Jalen Reese to play a lot in November, and it would have allowed, or it would have forced McKinnon and King and Sutton to be a little bit more assertive and look for their own shot. And then if he'd have come back for SEC play, man, you really might have something because they've kind of figured out now how to play without Thomas. They're scoring points. They scored 78 points against Missouri. They got a 20-point lead on Kentucky, who's a decent defensive team. Like they scored against Texas A&M, who's really frantic defensively and can cause problems. They figured out how to play without Thomas, but it cost them 2 or 3 games. And if you look at this LSU team, like y'all know this. Y'all know that we have watched some really bad LSU basketball teams in the last 20 years. Can we agree on that? There have been some bad teams. The first Matt McMahon team was awful. The last Johnny Jones team was awful. The last Trent Johnson team was awful. There have been some really bad basketball teams. This is not that. This is a team that's in a bad spot. They're probably not going to make the NCAA tournament because they're losing too many games at the front end of SEC play. But if you just step back from if you don't look at 4 years of data, it's fine to do that big picture. Do this exercise with me. Just because I know most LSU fans will go, this is 4 years in, who cares? And I get it, but we cover the team. I'm going to spend 10 minutes talking about the team. It's in season. Baseball practice started last week. We'll get to it in a second. But if you take out 4 years of data and you take the record away, which is impossible, but just look at the quality of play that you're getting. What does it look like on the floor? Well, you went on the road to Texas A&M and you played them to a tie game with 3 minutes to go. Texas A&M is currently leading the Southeastern Conference at 4-1. They're tied with Florida. But you went on the road to A&M and you played them straight up for 38 minutes. The South Carolina game, you played the worst 10 minutes of basketball you've played all year, and you almost scrapped your way back into it, but you lost the game. Terrible loss. Got it. You played Kentucky. Kentucky just went to Knoxville and erased an 18-point lead. They've got a $22 million roster, and with 1.7 seconds to go, you were leading Kentucky. And you beat Missouri. And not to mention, in the non-conference, you beat SMU, who's having a good go of it in ACC play. And your one loss was to Texas Tech, who's now in the top 15 and playing great. Like, if you look at the quality of play from LSU basketball this year, it's not that bad, especially considering the circumstances. And it took them a little bit, but they now know how to play without Thomas. King's giving them good minutes, handling point guard responsibilities. I hesitate to call him a point guard, but he's running the point. Sutton's being a little bit more assertive. McKinnon has found his offensive groove. They've defended really well early in games. Like, they're still a bad defensive team in a lot of stretches, and that's a bad deal. They're not a great team. I'm not calling them a great team. But if you take out 4 years of data and take out the SEC record and you just assess, well, how are they playing? They're playing okay. They really are. Now, they're going to lose 2 games this week, and we'll be back on the negative side of the coin. Like, there's a positive right now. You won the game. You should have beaten Kentucky. You played pretty well last week. But the fact of the matter is that's going to flip on its head over the next 7 days. And when you look up, they're going to be 1-6. And at 1-6, where they're going to be, you would essentially have to go 7-4 the rest of the way. That's going to be the task. And there are still games coming up with teams that you should beat. Oklahoma's not great. Mississippi State's not great. Auburn's not great. Like, I don't think Ole Miss is great. And you play all these teams coming up. But you put yourself in a spot that is just going to be too difficult to dig out of. So ultimately, I think I know where this is headed. I'm hopeful that they play better. I'm hopeful that Thomas shows up at some point this week. I wish there was a better update on his injury as opposed to, well, he's just not really cleared. He's day-to-day, day-to-day, day-to-day. We don't even know what the injury actually is. But to put a bow on this, I fully support y'all's right and feeling to look at this and go, I don't care. We stink. They haven't been relevant in 4 years. Like, that's the general consensus about LSU basketball. And I can't fault that one bit. But one, I like watching LSU play basketball. I like LSU basketball. And two, I cover the team for this show and for LouisianaSports.net. And I'm going to talk about it for one segment before and after they play games. The quality of basketball that LSU has played starting in November to now has been good enough to be an NCAA tournament team. They have not cut breaks. That's a terrible break in the Kentucky game, and it was really unfortunate that South Carolina threw a blitzkrieg at you that they really haven't replicated since. And you wish right now that you could look up and instead of being 1-4 through 5 games, you could beat 2-3 or 3-2, and I think you'd have a chance, but you're not. Ultimately, you are what your record says you are. You are a 1-4 team. You will be a 1-6 team. You can look at a 4-year data sample size and make decisions about this basketball program. All that is completely fair. I'm doing an exercise independent of that just to kind of give another angle to this discussion. But ultimately, the only thing that does matter is what the scoreboard says, what the record book says, and right now, that's not good enough for LSU. Is it all LSU's fault? No. Is it significantly due to LSU's misfortunes? Yeah. So I was thrilled they got a win on Saturday, kept things alive. We'll see if somehow, some way they can catch a heater and steal one this week. I don't see it. I think that's two of the toughest places to play in the Southeastern Conference, in Fayetteville and in Gainesville. Then we'll see what they can do beyond that. I know that my eyes tell me they're better than what their record is, but doesn't matter. What matters is what your record is, and ultimately, it's going to be 1-6 here pretty shortly. And that's how you shape the narrative. The conversation is what it is. So that's it for some LSU hoops here on this Monday. Got to tell you about friends at First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Looking for a commercial loan? Do business with First American Bank and Trust. Why? Well, they started in 1910. That's 116 years ago. I think they got a pretty good handle of what they're doing there, and they've grown. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. That means two things. One, there's always one near you, convenience. And two, that they've got the resources behind them that can handle whatever it is that you're looking for in your commercial loan space. They've got the resources. I tell you about the great customer service, and oftentimes that small town feel that you get at First American Bank and Trust means a lack of resources. Mom and pop shop can't quite do what the big boy banks can do. That's not the case. First American Bank and Trust, they got 25 locations to prove it. So walk on in. You'll see somebody and recognize what happens when you're in First American Bank and Trust, and do business with them. Get your residential loan, get that commercial loan. It's First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. We will step aside, come back, and close out the hour. Still plenty to do here on this Monday. Don't go anywhere. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing. You can find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com. It's January, and that means they can now offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. What an amazing gift that they can give you there with that new roof. A lifetime workmanship warranty. You just don't hear that in the roofing world. How about financing options? Of course, if you're purchasing a new roof, that can be something that's cost prohibitive to some people. But if you've got the ability to finance it, it can lessen that burden. You're talking about 0% up to 18 months. Maybe you've got a sizable deductible that is 2%, something like that, and you're thinking, you might want to finance that as well. They can finance deductibles. They are happy to help you with that. They've got a great team over there at Lifetime Roofing. It's a growing team. It's a phenomenal facility over there just off College Drive, and they are happy to help you here in the South Louisiana community. They'll get you that deductible finance. They'll get you that full roof finance over the course of 18 months, and they'll get you that lifetime workmanship warranty. It's Lifetime Roofing. You can find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up hour number 1 here, Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Hope you're getting a little time off. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day here on this Monday. But we're working, so if you are too, we'll get you to the finish line. Big game tonight. We'll talk about it with Denton Day coming up at the bottom of hour number 2. I want to talk a little bit about LSU's offensive line here in the last segment here. Right after I got off the air on Friday, LSU got a commitment from Maryland offensive lineman Alu Ba. Ba was a starter for the Maryland Terrapins for the last 23 games at right guard. And these are the kind of additions that I was talking about on Friday's show when we mentioned Sean Tompkins, who comes over from Baylor, who was a starter there, who's committed to North Carolina, comes over. And we think Devin Harper was very likely a starter at Ole Miss next year after his true freshman season in Oxford. And you start to look at actually putting together an offensive line and going left to right. And I'm starting to feel a lot better about LSU's offensive line. I did a segment on this on Friday, but it did not include Ba and it did not include Jordan Seaton. And LSU has not gotten a commitment from Jordan Seaton to my knowledge yet, but he has been on campus, and it's certainly possible. So let's just be pie in the sky. Let's just be super optimistic here. Let's call Jordan Seaton an LSU Tiger. What if we do that? Okay, that makes this exercise a lot more fun. He's the left tackle for sure. I put Devin Harper slotted in at left guard. We'll see. He could be a tackle. He could be a guard. Braylon Moore is your center. I've got Alu Ba, who started 23 games at right guard for Maryland, at right guard. And then I've got Weston Davis out at right tackle. So Seaton, Harper, Moore, Ba, and Davis. That doesn't even include Sean Tompkins, who has started at Baylor, the Bordelon brothers, Solomon Thomas, William Satterwhite, who was a backup at Tennessee this past year at center, and then Darren Stray, who was a backup at Kentucky. And it doesn't include the junior college additions that LSU has made. It does not include lower-level players. You're talking about Jaquan Sprinkle. This is just high major guys. Seaton comes from Colorado. Harper comes from Ole Miss. Moore, Virginia Tech to LSU. Ba, Maryland to LSU. And then Weston Davis, who started his career at LSU. Then Tompkins from Baylor. And then you're talking about Satterwhite from Tennessee, Stray from Kentucky, and then some guys that you brought in to develop in Bordelon, and Solomon Thomas. All of a sudden, that starts to look pretty dadgum good. And I would suggest that if LSU could get Jordan Seaton and map this out similarly to this, I don't know if I've got this right position for position, but it's close. I would suggest LSU might call its offensive line a strength as opposed to a question mark. On Friday, I gave you it's solid instead of a question mark. it started as a concern. When you look up and everybody's gone and you may not get Braylon Moore back, like it's a crisis at offensive line for LSU. But she just started chipping away, and you got some depth pieces early. Nobody's going to throw a party because you got a commitment from a Copiah Lincoln Community College player and a North Carolina Central starter. That's not going to move the needle very much. But she just kept chipping away and kept bringing guys in for visits. And now all of a sudden, you may fill out your offensive line with proven starters from Power 5 leagues. Now, you got to make it mesh together. And we know from the last year that just because you had 5 stars by your name doesn't make you a superstar on the offensive line. Everybody LSU trotted out there on the offensive line over the last 2 years has been a 4 or 5 star recruit, and they couldn't block anybody on the ground. But this is starting to look really good. If you don't land Seaton, I'm not sure exactly who your left tackle is. You've got a lot of guys with guard and center experience and not a lot of tackle experience. But if you do land Seaton, it just pushes everything into place. And it would just be a monster deal if LSU could get that to the finish line. Because if you start talking about an offensive line that includes Seaton, Harper, Moore, Baugh, Davis, Tompkins, that's 6 for 5 spots. That's probably a strength. We know that Lane Kiffin wants to get behind pads and run the football. We know you've got a quarterback who's been productive when given some time. You know that you've assembled a ridiculously deep core of wide receivers, and all of a sudden, you've got real depth at running back, including some high-end talent at that spot as well. You've got all the pieces around that offense to make it go, but you can't do anything if you can't block. Last year's LSU football team is a perfect illustration of that exact concept. Perfect. Because you had Barryon Brown and Nick Anderson and Aaron Anderson and Xavion Thomas, and the list goes on and on and on. Trey'Dez Green, and you couldn't complete balls down the field. You couldn't make plays. You had Harlem Berry and Caden Durham. You couldn't run the ball because you can't block. But if you can block and you can let Lane Kiffin get into his bag with the guys that he's brought in this transfer portal class, the speed, the home run hitting ability, the veteran quarterback, it starts to look really, really good. And I've been really, really hesitant and very, very slow to accept this offensive line as, I hesitate to use the term championship caliber, but I think that's what I'm going to use, championship caliber, because that's what the conversation kind of starts with at LSU. You're getting there. I can be convinced of it. Seaton's the linchpin. Without him, it becomes a little bit murkier because I don't know who the left tackle is, and we'll see what happens at right tackle with Weston Davis. You brought in a lot of guys in the portal that have played a lot of guard. So to go get a tackle would just be huge. Now, the thought was that Devin Harper was going to play tackle at Ole Miss in the fall. And maybe he's a tackle that can come in and play it. But proven one helps. And we'll see if Jordan Seaton gets on that plane and goes up to Oregon or not. But if they can keep him around and you start to look at where these guys come from and what they've got to their name and what they've done at the collegiate level, it's an exciting thing. And I already know this, Seaton or not, the excitement level in this town for that Clemson game is going to be through the roof. As I said in the first segment of the show today, I personally, this may not be a universally held belief, but I personally looked at this roster in October and November and said, man, next year is going to be quite a rebuild. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to stock the shelves adequately with as much as is leaving. And Lane Kiffin's done it. And he's created a reasonable sense of optimism in this town. You're always going to be optimistic in August. It is what it is. It's a new football season. I'm sure they're optimistic about the Browns every August too. It never works out. But this, I think, would be well-founded based on the additions that LSU has brought in. You've got difference makers. You've got depth. You've got talent. The offensive line was kind of the last thing to get squared away, and they're starting to make it happen. So hopefully Seaton is the last piece of that puzzle, and you can put together a really solid offensive line that could be a strength of the team when I could have never suggested that was a possibility a week and a half ago. But here we are. Kiffin's pretty good at this portal thing, y'all. All right, that's it for hour number 1 here on this Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. If you missed any of the content today, started talking LSU football, gave my thoughts on 2019 LSU against this Indiana team, even though I don't want to have that conversation. I did it. You can find all that discussion at Hunt on LSU, wherever you find your podcasts. And we also took a little bit of time to discuss LSU hoops as well. We got a lot to do in hour number 2 on this Monday. Of course, Denton Day is going to be with us coming up at the bottom of the hour in 30 minutes. I want to talk about the wildness of the NFL playoffs. There's a trend in the NFL that I'm having a hard time getting on board with, but I'm going to have to because it seems like I'm wrong and the NFL's right. So we'll talk about that. Also, some more transfer portal discussion in hour number 2 as well. So we'll step aside and pause for some national headlines with SportsCenter. I'm sure they'll have a lot of discussion about the firing in Buffalo earlier today. Crazy coaching carousel in the National Football League, but I'm sure they'll talk about the national championship game as well. So we'll step aside for those national headlines. We'll come back with hour number 2. This is a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are.
Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care.
Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
I'm Christine Lisi. 2 days after another early playoff exit, the Bills need a new head coach. They fired Sean McDermott after 9 seasons, an 8-8 postseason record that included 2 FC championship game losses. In addition to the Bills, there are 7 current head coaching openings. McDermott intends to continue coaching, and he'll land somewhere, believes ESPN NFL analyst Herm Edwards.
Coach has done a marvelous job in Buffalo. He'll find his footing somewhere. Somebody will hire him. But it's just, sometimes you stay too long, and you don't win enough of the big games, per se. It's hard enough to get there, but when you get there a bunch, everybody gets weary.
Herman Clinton and friends. Seahawks running back Zach Charbonnet will have season-ending surgery on a torn ACL. Kenneth Walker III shoulders the load in his place, starting with Sunday's NFC title game versus the Rams. Falcons are keeping defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich under new head coach Kevin Stefanski. Indiana seeks to continue its magical run when it takes on Miami in the CFP national title game tonight, 6:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, I'll give you my top 5 NFL coaches that need to get over the hump next season. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Denton Day, 30 minutes from right now, previewing the college football playoff final between Indiana and Miami. We'll be talking about it with him. Looking forward to that discussion. But I want to start with the NFL in hour number 2 here. Just got kind of a grab bag of some opinions and thoughts from what was a really, really great weekend of NFL football. You had the one absolute clunker between the Niners and the Steelers, but you had 2 overtime games. And then I thought an entertaining game between the Patriots and the Texans. I'll start with that. It's like the lowest hanging fruit here, so I'll go with the lowest hanging fruit. The Texans have a really good head coach. They have a great defense. And I don't know if they have the quarterback. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I watch the Texans every week. I'm not watching the Houston Texans every Sunday. But I've watched them the last 2 weeks. And I have seen nothing over the last 2 weeks to indicate to me that C.J. Stroud is a dude. Nothing. He looks awful out there. He looked ridiculously terrible in the Pittsburgh game, and I thought he was atrocious against New England. Like, I get it. It's not great conditions. I get it. You're on the road. I get it. The Patriots have a good defense. They're well coached. He looks terrible. He was 20 of 47 in the NFL. In this era where you get the ball out and you get it into space and you hit on 60, 64, 66% of your throws, he's not even sniffing 50% in this game. Turning the ball over, he drops snaps against the Steelers. He just looks terrible to me. And that's like a frightening thing to feel like you've got so many things in your organization aligned properly, from the coach to the personnel to the defense, and then all of a sudden you look up and you go, yeah, but the most important player's not that good. And I think they won in spite of C.J. Stroud to this point. And once you got to play a good team, he just doesn't have it. He, to me, looks bad. Do you have any thoughts on that, Jordan?
Yeah, man, I really think that the Texans are in a very sticky situation with his 5th-year option coming up over this offseason, him and Bryce Young. And it's really, you really was looking at, it's crazy because he started off so hot in 2023.
He did.
And it's just slowly cooled off each year as time has gone on and as the team has gotten better. So that's the problem. The team has gotten better and the quarterback is not elevating that team.
Nope.
So now you're in a situation where it's like we can kind of just get anybody to come play quarterback for this team. So,
all right, let's go to another game. Bills-Broncos. I just got a little bit of a tough time pinning this on Josh Allen. Like I don't know if anybody's doing that, but you look at the path for him, and you have no Lamar, and you have no Burrow, and you have no Mahomes, and it looks like you're the alpha in this league. You're the alpha in this conference. You got to go on the road, but you're the alpha. And I know he had the 2 interceptions, but I just have a hard time pinning that one on him. He went on the road to Denver, one of the best defenses in the National Football League, one of the best pass rushes in the National Football League, and they scored 30 points. They scored 30. And have a hard time pinning the 33 too hard on McDermott because it's your defense is so hurt. They're so banged up. Buffalo's defense has just been ravaged by injuries. I know he lost his job today, and I understand. Like, there's an expectation in this era of Bills football because you've got maybe the best player in the league, and he's playing the most important position, and you haven't even gotten to the Super Bowl yet. So I understand that there are expectations that come with it, but this was tough, man. And you look at the call and the interception that everybody's been debating, and everybody's kind of got their take on it. Based on the still pictures that I'm seeing and my interpretation of the rule, that feels like it is not an interception to me. Like, it feels like a catch to me. The ball could be thrown a little bit further out. I get that. It wasn't a perfect throw. But I tweeted this out. It just gave so many Eric Reed vibes from the play that he made in Tuscaloosa in 2011, where the ball's, I mean, it's a kind of the same type of situation. That would have probably gone for a touchdown or down to the 1. And this one would have put them in striking distance. And instead, you're out because you get the interception and then get a couple of interference calls the other way on Trey White, and that is interference. Like, he's clubbing the hand as you run down the field. To me, great coaching by Sean Payton, great win by Denver. I'm not going to knock Josh Allen too hard on this. He scored 30 on Denver's defense on the road in frigid conditions. That's oftentimes going to be enough to win. They went 12-5 this year. I have a hard time pinning that one on Josh Allen. And then, of course, the big news there is that Bo Nix can't play moving forward. Just a freakish thing to have happen. This is a sports writer thing, and I don't think it may be interesting to everybody out there, but I was just thinking about the newspaper reporters in there who are walking into that press conference with Sean Payton thinking about what they're going to write, and it's about breaking through and beating the Bills and advancing to the conference title game and doing it post Peyton Manning era and getting back to where you're supposed to be and being the seed that they were, and like you've got all these storylines to go through, and plus it was a great game, and then all of a sudden you have to just trash all that and boom, go straight to Bo Nix is out for the year because he broke his foot on some QB power run that he got up from. I know he limped a little bit, but just a stunning development there post game, and you feel like that's probably it for Denver. I have a hard time believing they're going to go to the Super Bowl and win it with Jarrett Stidham playing quarterback. Not that Bo Nix is an MVP candidate, but he's better than Jarrett Stidham. So I think that's a tough deal for the Broncos. Then you go to the Rams and Bears. This game was awesome. This was the well overused meme cinema. This was it. I hate the notion that 0 degrees and snow is quote unquote football weather, but aesthetically it does. It looks kind of cool. It looked like a movie script, and I heard Dan Big Cats on Barstool say this. It was my exact thought as well. When Caleb Williams backs up on 4th down and wings that ball into the end zone, and then Kmet catches it for a touchdown, I looked at the TV and I said, they're going to win the Super Bowl. They are going to win the Super Bowl. And I guess I've been caught doing that twice now because I just thought Ole Miss was just serendipity. There was just too many things breaking their way, and it was just going to happen for them, and it didn't. And same thing happened to the Bears. It didn't happen for them. But that throw and catch just can't happen. And everything the Bears have needed for 3 months, it appears they have gotten. And it was an answered prayer almost. And then they couldn't get it done because McVay and Stafford and that organization is just really good. And for them to go out in those conditions on the road and get that done was just really impressive. The one thing that this game made me think about as I was watching it, and this is what I teased entering this segment, I'm going to have to soften my stance on these coaches refusing to kick field goals, because clearly they've got to be onto something that I'm not figuring out. And I know Lane Kiffin now coaches my favorite football team, so I got to figure that out too. But it's the best way I can put it. I've heard this multiple times. This feeling that a field goal is -4 points instead of +3 points feels ridiculous to me. Like, people that feel like if you kick a field goal, you're giving up 4 points because you're not getting a touchdown. I reject that notion. But so many coaches are doing it. And you saw Ben Johnson do it. And the best breakdown I heard of it was he did it twice. And it worked once and it didn't work one other time. But if you would have kicked both field goals, you'd have gotten 6. If you go 50% there, get 1 touchdown, and you come up empty once, that's 7 points. So I guess the theory is for it not to work, you'd have to miss both times. I think 3 points, especially in that game. Did you see those defenses? You see those elements? Like, getting a 3 on the board to me is a good thing. But these coaches they get inside the 20 and they're like, we're not kicking field goals. We have to go score a touchdown. I get it if you're Jaden Daniels' LSU team from 2 years ago, okay? You never get stops and you got the best quarterback in the game. Okay, you can go for some 4th downs. That's fine. But in a 20, this game went 17-17 in overtime. 3 points is a big deal. These coaches don't want to do it. You're watching these games. You're a young buck. You thinking we're not kicking field goals?
It's completely this new day and age Madden. Like, I'm not punting the ball. I'm not doing nothing. Like, it really just feels like Dan Campbell has opened up Pandora's box on the NFL. Because I swear he started it. In my recollection, I feel like Dan Campbell was like the first coach just hourly being like, you know what? We're going for it every 4th down. I don't care what scenario. I'm throwing fake punts. I'm doing anything under the sun to get an advantage. And, Ben Johnson comes from that tree. And he's ultra aggressive too. Yep. At the same, he's super aggressive. Like you said, just saw it last night. He's super aggressive. So I think I can't disagree with their logic, because these people are getting paid millions of dollars to do football. So they obviously know something we don't know.
It's just the new philosophy. Question for you.
Yes.
I will give you either the Seattle Seahawks,
okay,
or the Broncos, Patriots, and Rams. Super Bowl champion. You taking the Seahawks? You taking the other 3?
Man, that's a hard one, man, because Seahawks looks like the actual Legion of Boom.
I didn't watch the second half of that one.
There was no point.
I did not watch the second half of that game.
I seen enough. Once honestly, after the Rashid Shaheed touchdown, I was like, you know what? We can wrap this one up. I mean, that felt like 2015 Seahawks, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, like just 12th man boom explosion. So, man, that's a rock and a hard place, because I seriously.
I don't think you want Denver anymore.
I'm done with that. I don't need to see y'all no more.
It's really the Patriots and Rams.
And honestly, I would like for the Rams to win. I know that's crazy. People are like, the penalty, whatever. Yeah, the no call. I get it, but I just hate Seattle so much, because growing up, they were always in the Saints. Like, before the Saints fell off a little bit, they were always in the Saints way. Once the Jimmy Graham trade, like the Legion of Boom, I still have chills at night knowing you going up there to Seattle and knowing the 12th man is rocking. Cam Chancellor's finna knock somebody out the game. Like, so I would rather the Rams win, but you can't tell me Seattle's not they're literally a train on the tracks right now. So Rams, I want the Rams to win. Yes.
We'll see. I would probably take Seattle, and that's crazy for me to think out loud that I would take Seattle, because they got Sam Darnold as their quarterback, but Sam Darnold's playing great, so I can't. It's not the same Sam Darnold that you saw in the Jets that looked just completely inept.
And it's like, he's playing well, but when he's playing well, you got Rashid Shaheed returning kicks and punts, and
there's a great camera shot from way outside the stadium that shows the inside of the stadium. Because the Seahawks Stadium's got
open.
It's open. You can kind of see in on an angle, and you can see Shaheed coming down the sideline, and you can see the crowd just going absolutely bananas. That is crazy stuff.
You know what hurts the most though about this Rashid Shaheed stuff? It's like he was doing this on the Saints, but the Saints were so bad it never got the attention. And now everybody's like, man, where's this guy been all these years? It's like he was returning kicks and punts for us too. He
was still fast for the Saints. They just lost all the time. So now all my talking heads in Chicago can pivot from the Bears to the Cubs. Pitchers and catchers are already out there in Arizona. Let's talk about the Cubs. All right, speaking of baseball, we'll do a live read here for Marucci. We'll come back at 45 minutes ago. Denton Day in 15. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, speaking of baseball, Marucci's the official bat of Major League Baseball. Started a backyard shed here in 2004. And now, just 22 years later, you're talking about the official bat of Major League Baseball. You can go see where that official bat of Major League Baseball is made. They make 1,200 of them every single day. So if you got a new youth baseball team, youth softball team, and they want to go on a team bonding exercise, go do something fun, go check out Marucci. It's a gem here in Baton Rouge. You can get a campus tour. Go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour. You can book that tour. Do it, you're by yourself, or bring a team, bring a class. Great chance to go and see one of the coolest things here in the capital city. Whether it's, again, a full group, a team, a class, just go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour and book your campus tour today. Marucci, the official bat of Major League Baseball.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online, or text or call for free, confidential help now.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Denton Day coming up in 10 minutes. Hope your Monday is going smoothly. If you're working like us, we'll get you to the finish line. If you got the day off, hope you're enjoying that with some family and friends. Thanks for making us part of your day. I saw something earlier today that I did not like very much at all. and I'm going to discuss it here. College football expanding the playoff to 24 teams. No. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. We had a 12-team playoff this year that included 2 teams that have absolutely no business being in a playoff. We were at 12, and we had 2 teams that don't need to be in. We're going to swell this thing to 24 teams. When I heard that number, I immediately did this exercise in my head. Okay, I'm going to go to the rankings, the last rankings we had, and look at the teams between like 16 and 24 and see who that would be. I understand it's not apples to apples and you're not just going straight by the rankings, but like you understand the exercise, right? If I'm going down towards 24 teams, I'm going to look around the 20 to 24th ranked team and whether or not that's a team that's worthy of a playoff spot. Iowa finished the season ranked 21st in the country. They were 8-4. So you're telling me that we need in college football to allow teams that went 8-4 to compete for the championship? Just say that out loud. Like, what's the threshold here? You're telling me that you have to go 7-5 to be disallowed from this playoff? I realize, again, this is not a literal statement I'm making. I'm kind of just towing the line here. But Iowa played 4 ranked teams this year. They went 0-4. Yet they were ranked 21st. And they would potentially be in a 24-team playoff. Like, I know they beat Vanderbilt in the bowl game. I know. And Vanderbilt was 10-2 and would have been in a playoff, and like you saw what maybe a first-round matchup was going to look like, and it was a 34-27 game, and it was entertaining. Well, it's more football. But I do feel like we need to reward excellence. I think it's absurd that we're going to swell this basketball tournament to 90-something teams. I think that's ridiculous to award some 7-11 SEC team a chance to play in the NCAA basketball tournament. It's absurd to let a team that was tested 4 times this year against ranked teams, lost them all, and that would be a playoff team. I was so for expanding the college football playoff from 4 to 12. I think having more teams interested in November is a very, very good thing. I don't think you completely devalue the Texas A&M Texas game or the Ohio State Michigan game. If they reach that spot with 1 loss or undefeated in a bygone era, you would be playing to get in the Big Ten Championship and playing for your life in a regular season game. It was the most important thing you could do. And I still think that playing for that bye is a great thing for teams that have already clinched a spot in the playoff at the end of the regular season. But having more teams interested is good until a certain point. And we're at that point, to me, with 12. Can I be talked to about 16? Sure, I'll entertain the conversation. You start going to 24, I'm out. Like, I wanted to look at the standings in some of these conferences and look at who would be on the border if we were going to give auto bids. And if you look at the ACC, you're talking about a 5-loss Duke team. 4 without the bowl. But again, another 4-loss team. A 4-loss Pitt team. A 4-loss SMU team. This is the top of the ACC. Virginia had 3 losses. They're at the top of the ledger in the ACC. So you're telling me a conference whose number 1 team is 11-3. I got to allow 3 or 4 teams? I got to let a 5-loss Pitt team in? No. Even like looking at the Big Ten, like I just don't know if I'm desperate for a 3 or 4 loss Michigan team to make the playoff. And at a certain point, it just feels like money has just ruined everything. It's already created complete chaos in January and December. And now we're chasing more of it to water down the regular season and the playoff just for more TV revenue. Like, money rules everything. I understand it. But somebody at some point's got to stand up and go, okay, let's do something that includes a little bit of common sense here. And I think the calendar's going to be changed. And I think you're going to get a lack of conference championship games if they can make the money work. But there aren't 24 teams I need to watch compete for a championship. I don't need Tulane and James Madison and North Texas in this bracket. I like that Tennessee went to Ohio State in the first year. I like that Miami went to Texas A&M, that Clemson went to Texas. I think those matchups are cool. I want more matchups on campuses. And I'm okay with swelling the playoff from the 4 because we were leaving out some really good teams there. 24 is just ridiculous. Nobody's asking for this. You want to get in the playoff, keep your losses to 2. I don't need 4-loss Iowa crashing the party because we're trying to get Fox to pay us some more money. It waters down the sport, the regular season and the playoff. And I just don't have any interest in that. Just my thoughts on the matter. We'll see if, in fact, it does come to pass as we move forward. Wild times. We're here in collegiate athletics. We'll crown a champion tonight in Miami. We'll talk to Denton Day about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Really cold this past weekend. Going to be cold this week. Really cold next weekend. But if you like to go play some golf while it's cold out, Swing Easy Golf Club is a great place to go do that. You go on in, get your private bay. It's got comfortable seating options. They bring you a bucket of beers. You can turn the TV on. Fire up whatever golf course you want to play. I was talking to a buddy yesterday who was playing TPC Louisiana over at Swing Easy Golf Club. You can do that. Play Pebble Beach. Play that famous course in Georgia. How about Bethpage Black when they played the Ryder Cup? That's on there as well. It's a great place to go hang out, hit some golf shots, independent of the elements, comfortable seating, entertain clients. You can become a member at Swing Easy Golf Club if you want to. Check out the website, SwingEasyGCBR.com. Membership availability right there on the website. They're on Segan at Perkins at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are.
Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Crown of champions tonight near South Beach. Be Miami and Indiana from down there in Miami. Been talking college football all season long with our guy Denton Day. We'll do it one more time here on the championship game day. Denton, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Let's kick this ball off. I'm ready to get this thing rocking.
Do they need to change this calendar? Do we feel like the college football season has lost its steam and that everybody's on the NFL, or how do we feel about that?
It definitely needs to change, push back a couple of weeks. I'm fearful because the conversations that are being had with the two most important people in the sport, and Sankey and Petiti, seemingly have the championship for the 25th next year, so nearly a week after what we are currently doing, which is alarming because, I mean, who is, I love the sport as much as anybody, you love the sport as much as anybody, but, going to nearly February is quite the drag, if you will, especially when you have sometimes 10, 11 days between games.
For sure, and that's the case in this instance. Let's talk Indiana first. I got on my soapbox in the first hour talking about 2019 LSU against this Indiana team. It was a stupid conversation to have, but I just got suckered into it. I'm curious your thoughts on just how good this team is. I read a preview, and it says they've got about 6 draftable guys, and most of them are 3rd, 4th round picks. What's your sense on the talent level of this Indiana team?
Oh, my God. Are you a fan of The Office?
Of course.
You remember the scene where Angela takes aspirin because she's about to deal with Ryan's girlfriend, and
yes.
She says, I'm just preparing. That's kind of how I feel with these conversations because I know people are going to run to the microphone and say, hey, this is the best team ever because they went 16-0. And I'm like, I don't really care about that. If you want to put them in conversations with maybe that 2018 Clemson team, I'd hear the conversations. I'd push back a little bit, but I'd hear the conversations. If you want to say they're the 4th best team in the past 10 years, okay, maybe, behind LSU, who's definitively won with that 19 team, I would say probably 2020 Bama would be number 2, 18 Clemson, and then this year's Indiana team, they dominate. There's no doubt about that, but I think it's fair to point out that in this year of college football, as fun as it's been because of the parity, we've now kind of gone 2 years in a row without a dominating force in the sport. So when you see what Indiana's doing, I do think it's very easy for people to overcompensate their domination because it's just been a little bit of a lull, specifically at the quarterback position for the past 2 years. I think they're a really good team. If they win a championship, this season is certainly an immaculate season. They've been a buzzsaw this entire year. I'm expecting them to win tonight, but I'm not putting them in that same conversation with a team that had a number 1 overall pick, a top 5 overall pick, a guy that is now proven to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and that's just talking about the offense. You put Stingley in there, you put Queen in there. That LSU team had a bunch of dudes, man. That's one of the best teams ever. Whatever your time frame is, that's one of the best teams ever. I'm not sold on Indiana being bad.
That's why I'm pulling for Miami tonight, just to squelch the conversation because I don't really want to hear any more of it. What do you think Indiana's best at?
I think they're best at not making mistakes. And, that is a very nice luxury to have when you take on some of the teams that you played. If you watch that Alabama game, Alabama made a lot of mistakes. If you watch both Oregon games, Oregon made a ton of mistakes. And I can't really point to a situation or a sequence of plays, really, if even dating back to the Big Ten championship, where Indiana has made an abundance of mistakes. They're incredibly disciplined. They do things at a very, very high level, but their best ability is to not screw things up, which, in this year's college football, that's a pretty nice thing because basically everybody else has found ways to screw things up.
Let's talk about their quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. What impresses you about him?
I think he makes some good throws. I definitely think he is an NFL caliber player. I thought some of the throws that he made against Oregon when the game was close were pretty impressive. That Penn State throw that he made to win it was pretty impressive. Some of the throws against Ohio State. So he has the capability of making some big-time throws. I think he's sneaky athletic. He does kind of remind me a little bit of Trevor Lawrence in that he just takes such long strides. It doesn't look like he's running very fast, but because his legs are so long, he covers a lot of ground in a very small amount of time. I do think he's a really good decision maker as well. I kind of like Fernando Mendoza the more that I watch him. I think he's a fun player. I think he's a good player. He's kind of a dweeb, but like in a lovable way. Like he's a dweeb that's kind of fun to be around.
For sure. Do you think that Indiana can block for him tonight?
Yes and no. I think this is the most intriguing element of tonight's game because as good as Indiana has looked, that Oregon offensive line was not very good. Alabama's offensive line was dreadful this entire year.
Yes.
And Ohio State's offensive line was not very good relative to what Ohio State's expectations are. And then you could say the same thing for all the defensive lines. I think this is the best interior front on both sides of the ball that Indiana is going to have seen all year. I do trust that Kurt Cignetti has a plan specifically for Bain and Mesidor. If someone's just beating you on the inside, you're going to have to wear that one on the chin. You just can't let those two guys on the outside beat you. So I'd expect some chips from running backs, from tight ends, quick throws to really test the defense, but you got to be careful because we've seen it. This Miami defense, their DBs, they are hunting, man. Like they are trying to come for that football. I think they can block for Mendoza, but I definitely think that you will see him under the most pressure that we have so far this postseason.
How big is tonight for Carson Beck?
Man, he's had a fun week, hasn't he? Now people are up in arms because this dude doesn't go to class. I don't know what they've thought college football's been for the past 6 years. A quarterback not going to class? Lord have mercy. Who's gone to class in the last decade or so? I think this is a legacy game for him, kind of the way that last week was. But I've never been sold on him. Even when he had the play that he did to put them over the top, it was a great drive. He earned that play. As soon as he took off, you knew he's getting in there. No one's going to touch him. I've never been sold with him. There's always something missing. I can't, and the problem is I can't put my finger on it because I think he's a bad decision maker, but the past couple games he's made some pretty good decisions. There's just something about him where I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop and for him to have a Louisville kind of performance, an SMU kind of performance where late in the ball game he's making some really questionable throws.
Do you think that Miami can run the ball on Indiana?
Yes. I think this is the first time that Indiana is really going to have to anchor down in the run game. Mark Fletcher is a dude. He is a legitimate game-changing running back. I think Indiana is going to be in a ball game for the first time in a couple of weeks. I think Miami is that good on the interior. So I do think they'll at least keep the game competitive, but a large portion of that is going to be Mark Fletcher.
Sounds like you like Indiana to win. What's the number look like?
So I got it when it was 7.5, so I would like it to be 7.5, but then I did the double dip, so I did bet Miami to cover 10. So I have a nice middle ground there, and I kind of think that's where it's going to end up landing. If Indiana wins this one 28-20, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think this is going to be the first time where they're actually playing in a game in the third quarter because I do think Miami is good enough to keep it close up into that point. It's really going to depend, though, how Indiana starts this football game. If they get up 14-0 on Miami, 10-0 on Miami, I think the Hurricanes are in trouble. I don't know that they're equipped with the way that they're currently designed on offense to overcome a multi-score deficit because Indiana is going to score. Like, we know that they are going to score. It's just a matter of how Miami handles it. So I do think Miami keeps it close enough to keep you up, but I think Indiana ends up winning by 8.
This is a potentially opens the door for a longer answer, but open-ended question here. Like, if Indiana wins tonight by a couple of scores, like, how do you contextualize that with what Indiana football has been, with what Cignetti has done, and then this era of college football and what it means for everybody in college football?
It is one of the great stories of the last few years. I don't think there's any doubting that. And I do think it has exposed a little bit of bad actors for those that maybe don't love the sport as much as they told us that they love the sport. If Indiana turns this thing around, it's a massive deal. But it's also going to cause some schools a lot of money because not everybody has Kurt Cignetti. I do think he is a special one-of-a-kind type of coach. And there's going to be programs. I look at, like a Rutgers, if I just stay in the Big Ten, right? I look at like a Rutgers, I'm in the D.C., Maryland area. I look at a Maryland. These teams are going to think, hey, well, if we have the right amount of money, we can maybe do what Indiana can do. And that is not entirely accurate. I think a lot of it is on the coach. Cignetti has done a really great job, but he's also had, a very similar staff follow him from job to job to job. It'll be interesting the next couple of years to see what his coaching tree starts to look like, because a lot of the dudes that are with him, they were with him at Madison, they were with him at Elon, and eventually some other teams are going to come knocking. But I do think this is kind of a showcase of this is what happens when everybody has money. We, for the longest time, the SEC and very certain schools, Ohio State always had money, Michigan always had money, Penn State always had money. There are a few other schools, your Clemson's, Florida State's, to a degree, Miami, they just spent it poorly. But this is just kind of a showcase of what happens when everybody has a good amount of money that they can divvy up. But I don't know that everyone's going to be able to do what they've done every single year. This to me does feel like, and sorry for rambling, but this to me does feel like when Bobby Bowden started to do unthinkable things at Florida State, it does kind of feel like Curt Cignetti is almost a modern-day Bobby Bowden based on what he's doing in the early stages at Indiana.
I intentionally asked it for a long answer. It's a fascinating discussion point. I'm glad to get your thoughts on that. Enjoy the football tonight, Denton. We appreciate you jumping aboard every Monday. We'll do it again starting in the fall.
Yep, Hunt, appreciate it as always, my friend.
Denton Day, SiriusXM's College Football Overtime. Let me elaborate on that a little bit, but first I'll remind you about my friends over at Ochsner and their Eat Fit Alcohol-Free for 40 Challenge. Registration's open, so if you're looking for a fresh start for this winter and into the spring, the Alcohol-Free for 40 Challenge is back. It's a 40-day reset to help you sleep better, boost your energy, maybe feel a little bit better than you have. Not about giving up anything forever. Just seeing how your body responds when you give it a little bit of a break. You can do some pre- and post-challenge metrics like body composition, blood pressure, optional labs, and just actually see how your body changes over the course of 40 days. People who have done this challenge report clearer skin, more focus, brighter mood, better sleep. Often that happens within the first couple of weeks. So Ochsner's Eat Fit supports you with zero-proof drink ideas, nutrition tips, and a community of people that are all on the challenge together. Registration's open, so whether you want to do it officially or take that challenge from home, you can check it out at alcoholfreefor40.com. That's the number 40, alcoholfreefor40.com. I have long had a thought, and it's been proven out, like college football is for about 12, 13 schools. That's it. And I always say, there's a reason they don't win championships at Kansas State or Cal or Boston College. There's a reason they don't win any championships at Arizona State, Purdue, and Pitt. You don't have the geographic recruiting advantages. You don't have the history and the tradition and the facilities. You don't have the passion. There's a set of criteria that have to be met for you to win a national championship. And the schools that fit them are Ohio State and Bama and Georgia and Texas and Clemson and LSU and Auburn and Florida State. And they fit those criteria. And you don't fit at Kansas. You don't fit at Minnesota. It doesn't work at Arkansas. Or it doesn't work at Arizona State. And I've always said that, and I've never been proven wrong, because every time we crown a national champion, it's one of those 12 or 13 schools. And if Miami doesn't win tonight, then that changes. And it probably has already changed if we're being candid about it, because Ole Miss is in the Final Four, and because Indiana's blowing teams out. Indiana's beaten Oregon twice. Indiana beat Ohio State. That thing that I leaned on forever and ever, it's just you can't lean on that anymore, because you've got revenue sharing, so everybody can leave to go places for money, and you got the transfer portal, so everybody's a free agent, and you can't keep stockpiling the depth that made teams as good as they were and prevented other teams from getting better because all those players were going to certain places. So it's just a different era. It's a different time, and we may not ever go back. And so if you spend your money properly and you get the right coach, you can get it done. And maybe Curt Cignetti's that good, and that this is a one-off, and actually you can't. But it feels like Ole Miss is proving that wrong. So I'm curious to see how it unfolds tonight. I've told y'all I'm picking Indiana to win the game. I'm pulling for Miami to win the game. But something that I've stuck to my entire life, that college football is only for 13, 15 schools, that gets shattered tonight if Indiana goes into Miami and wins that game, because Indiana not in that group, not in the Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Clemson, Florida State, LSU, Auburn boat. They will be if they win tonight, though. Crazy stuff. All right, we'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You can find the entire inventory online at fabrychevrolet.com. So whether you're looking for a new vehicle, a pre-owned vehicle, they got you covered at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. The Fabry family has been at this for 35 years. You know, when you work with the Fabry family, you're going to get fantastic customer service. You're going to get a fantastic buying experience. You'll get service after the sale as well, because they've been doing it for more than 3 decades. So you can go check out their newest point, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. They got tons of Chevy Tahoes, Chevy Silverados on the lot. They got your GMC Sierras, GMC Yukon, GMC Denali. Go by and see them. Make the short drive to St. Francisville. Check out that inventory online at fabrychevrolet.com. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville or online at fabrychevrolet.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Looking forward to hopping in the old car, heading down I-10 this evening. Going to be speaking to St. Anne Men's Club in Metairie this evening. I want to talk a little LSU baseball. I said, folks, you want to talk LSU baseball? I'll be there to talk LSU baseball. Okay. Full disclosure, I did not realize when I committed that it was the same night as the national championship game.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that. We cleared that up. It's fine. I'm not that big a deal. I really genuinely don't care who wins the Indiana-Miami game, and they said they'll have it on, so I'll pay attention to that, and I might be able to listen to it on our airwaves on the way back. Probably catch the second half at home. But looking forward to getting down to Metairie and chatting with St. Anne's Men Club about some LSU baseball. So if you're in Metairie or you're part of the St. Anne's Men's Club and you'd like to hear some LSU baseball, come see us tonight. Looking forward to getting down there and doing that. We got one order of business left to go today, though. Let's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, let's start it off with, they already kind of spoke about it, but the Buffalo Bills filed Sean McDermott on Monday after another failed postseason run. So McDermott leads Buffalo with a 98-50 record, but an 8-8 postseason record, including 2 AFC Championship appearances, obviously both stumped by Patrick Mahomes. But the Buffalo make the right move. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I mean, I understand you're in this window and you've got this. I think this is an overused term. He is a generational player at quarterback for your franchise. There's not one of those that comes along every 20 years.
Not a lot of Josh Allen.
It just doesn't happen a lot. So you have that, and you haven't gotten to the Super Bowl. I get it. I would suggest this is the best of the fired NFL coaches from this cycle. It's the best crop ever. Yeah. John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, Kevin Stefanski, and McDermott.
Sean McDermott.
I mean, those are good. Everyone thinks they're good coaches.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Stefanski already got a job.
Yeah, I mean quickly. So everybody thinks they're good coaches, and they all got fired. So here we are.
Yeah, man, and it's just like at a certain point, this is kind of he's the scapegoat at this point. You're not gonna get rid of Josh Allen. No. So it's like somebody.
They scored 30 points on one of the best defenses in the league, and their defense is banged up, and they got. I mean, at the worst, they got screwed by the officials. At the very least, it was very unfortunate what happened to them.
Yes, most definitely. So. Darian Mensah, a lot of Tulane people listen there already know who this is. So he's entering the transfer portal again. Mensah submitted his request on Friday ahead of the midnight deadline. The quarterback is entering his second year of his 2-year deal with Duke that will pay him up to $4 million in 2026. So listen to this. If Mensah leaves Duke, sources tell ESPN that his contract grants the university's exclusive NIL rights, which would prevent Mensah from earning revenue sharing at his next school, unless Duke terminates that contract. So, is Miami getting Mensah? Take it or leave it?
I'll take it. They got to get somebody, and I'm sure they gave him a call and tampered with him and said, "Hey, come on down." That's just the way that things go. Miami struck out really in the transfer portal with all the big name quarterbacks, which they've done a great job, obviously, with Cam Ward and Carson Beck last couple of years. So yeah, I think that's probably is where he'll end up going, and they'll have to try to make the money work one way or another.
Oh no, I've heard he's got an Adidas deal on the table if he goes to Miami, so they're gonna make that money. So. Speaking of quarterbacks, do you know what's going on with Tennessee? Because we just see Miami. Like, did they get a quarterback yet?
I mean, Aguilar's coming back, right?
He is? Okay, I didn't know if he was coming back or not. Okay.
I believe he's got another year.
Because I've just been seeing them, they want to Levitt bad. So I've been after the Levitt
Maybe I'm wrong. Let's look that up.
Yeah. So while that's going on, LeBron James, his 21-year All-Star streak as being a starter has come to an end today, as he has not been announced as a starter for the All-Star team. This is a new day and age in the NBA. Take it or leave it.
I will take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And I was looking it up. I'm an idiot. Aguilar is not coming back. He was a graduate transfer, and he was a senior, so he's not coming back. So, yeah, I don't know what the deal is on ranked up. I need to figure that out because LSU plays in Tennessee in November of next year. It'll be chilly up there, but they don't have a quarterback. That's a good thing. I didn't consider that when Levitt went to Knoxville. Not only are you talking about potentially LSU not getting him, you would have to play him at that point. So, yeah, that would not have been awesome. So, yeah. I forgot what you said about the NBA, but Joey Aguilar's not coming back.
Yeah, basically LeBron, his 21-year streak of being a starter in the All-Star team has over. He has not been announced as a starter for the first time in 21 seasons.
I did not realize, even though I should have realized, it's pretty easy to realize, he was All-NBA 21 years in a row.
Yeah.
Do you know how ridiculous that is?
It will never be done again.
No, it will not.
Never.
21 years straight All-NBA.
Yeah.
He was All-NBA in his teens and his 40s.
Yeah. Just think about that.
Absurd.
Think about what you were doing at 18 and thinking about being a professional on the highest level and having to live up to being the chosen one.
I was playing Mario Kart.
Oh.
Drinking some Keystone Lights.
Oh, Hunt, if you would have gave me $1 million at 18, I'll be dead right now. So I'm just like, shout out LeBron James. So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
Had 3 different gaming systems set up in the dorm room. Shout out Herget Hall. Room 201, stellar.
Oh, listen, man, we had the PS4 going. We had a lot of 2K, a lot of
I
Madden,
had Xbox, PlayStation, N64, and GameCube. All 4.
Oh, y'all were two-tapping.
We had all 4 in the dorm room.
The benefits of free electricity.
That's us. Just clown show in Herget 201.
Wouldn't change it though.
No.
Wouldn't do it again.
Would not change it. Incredible. My roommate used to go down and break the door handle in the bathroom so that it wouldn't lock, so we didn't have to bring his key to the bathroom.
Wow.
And then we all got an assessment at the end of the semester for the repairs. Oh, college. What a time. I'm done with that. All right, that's it for us on this Monday. If you missed any of the show, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Hunt on LSU, Hunt on Saints, and, of course, the Hunt Palmer Show. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. It's all about the U, baby. Let's go Miami. Crown a champion tonight. We'll be talking about it tomorrow on a Tuesday edition. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. If your home was built, say, 1990, 1995, probably has a huge jacuzzi in it that you don't even use, right? Something David says he's seeing a lot of these days. And that's a lot of space, those big 90s jacuzzis. Take it out. It's got plenty of room to put in a gorgeous glass walk-in shower. Completely changes the functionality of your bathroom, completely changes the aesthetic of your bathroom, add a little bit of value to your home. Let David Duvall and his team come in and do it. No job too big or too small for the folks at One Bath and Closets. Want to do a tub to shower conversion? They can do it for you. That process sometimes only takes 3 to 5 days. Go to onebathandclosets.com, request that free consultation, sit down with David, and start that process today. It's One Bath and Closets online at onebathandclosets.com.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived.